It sounds like, yes. I believe I've been able to track down where it might be.
Well, that's good news.
Well, it depends on how you're going to extract this thing. My friends would want to limit the damage done
Of course.
to the locale.
I'm not all about, getting into fights in Greyhawk.
Let me tell you, my friends would not appreciate that. And they're of the skulking and knifing type. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, you said your friends would not appreciate that?
Yeah, they will not appreciate you making a big.
I just said I'm
big
not about getting into fights in Greyhawk.
Exactly. So they will not appreciate the fact that you would get in a fight. He's agreeing with you.
Right. You're framing it in a negative. It's confusing the hell out of me.
There is a gambling house outside of the city. Apparently, this individual struck it big inside so big inside the city itself that he got banned from playing inside within the walls. So he had to go somewhere else. It's close by. But the tricky part is that this establishment is not within the protection of my friends. So they would agree that you're free to do what you need to doing.
Oh, you want to make this sort of it'd be a shame if something happened to such a nice place kind of deal.
Without being traced back to my friends.
Oh, you don't want that. Okay. I thought perhaps you were suggesting that you were, making overtones. Your friends were making overtones towards them to join their organization, or at least pay a fee to be protected by them, and that somebody should perhaps make it indicator that hey,
well,
you'd best be served.
If something were to be liberated from the premises, something valuable to them, like that which you seek, if it's there, I think that would be more enough of a sign that maybe they should rethink my friend's offer. But it does no good if there's significant damage to the property, which means it devalues the property and it's less useful.
Sure, I hear you. Hurt the people, not the property.
So I could guide you and tell you where it is, and we could pay a visit to reconnoiter. After that, it's entirely up to you what you want to do.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, he basically changes, was like, pardon me for saying this, my friend, but do you own any garments?
Not anymore, no.
Would you wish to own some garments? I wish don't in being polite, but
why do you think
where we're going, there's an expectation of this.
What's the expectation?
That you would be clothed.
Right, but I'm not exposing anything. That's what I'm saying.
True, but
kind of like I'm wearing my house, as it were.
I understand, but still, there is an expectation that you wear some finer.
Right, I just mean, look at me though. What I'm saying is that what would you expect me to wear?
Anything that could fit your body. I mean, it's as long as it's of a fine quality. They think of themselves as having a very high level clientele, as it were. It's appearances.
All right, well, I don't need that to reconnoiter, right? Or do I need that first?
Well, if you're going to go reconnoiter, as in you're going to go into the establishment and look around and, do that, yes.
Well, see, I didn't know if you were telling me that you were going to show me to the outside of the building so I know where it is. I didn't know if you meant to reconnoiter, as in to surveil the entirety of the inside.
Well, if you want the most information of the building, I think that would be. After all, if you only see the outside and you don't know what's going on inside, then how can you prepare for any eventuality?
Right. I'll tell you what. Before you bring me there, I should probably go talk to the crew that I came with and let them know what's going on.
Of course.
just in case I might be able to get more hands on deck.
I think that would be very wise of you. Yes.
All right, so let's say we meet again tomorrow.
All it is.
Here, good.
Perfect.
Say about this time.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the work that you've done.
Well, I find all this very fascinating. Unlike my brother, well, the brother-in-law who's very careful about these things, I always like to play with the odds. I want to see what would happen when you get your hands on this.
Well,
really curious.
At the very least, you'll know where it is. So if you get that gambling spirit, wait, no. You shouldn't get the gambling spirit. You're married.
There's one willing to gamble. I gambled with my life before.
Yes, but I mean, that was before you got married, was it not?
Yes. And even after.
Yeah, but I mean, it's your life. I can't tell you what to do.
It's true. We'll see each other tomorrow then.
All right.
And he leaves.
Yeah, and then I go off to try and find Kicks and the gang.
Yeah, you basically meet. You go to the sleeping giant inn.
Say, was it the sleeping giant? I only have doubts about that being the name because I don't remember the giant being the guy behind the counter. Wasn't he like an ogre or something? Yeah, wasn't it a sleeping ogre?
Ogre? Yeah. No, it's a sleeping giant.
Okay.
In fact, I think somebody talked to him, and he said that the people in the city couldn't tell the difference between a giant and an ogre, so the sleeping giant it was.
That guy's smarter than most of our party because of what he has.
Well, I just remember it being an ogre because we had the whole argument that my skeletons are smarter than he is.
On average, yeah.
And yet he runs a successful business.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think it was like I think he had a headband of intellect or something like that.
I believe so, yes.
If that was said, I missed it.
It was, so he's smarter than most of our party.
Not me. And I haven't talked to him. I tried talking to him once, and it's like, no, I can't think of anything to say to this guy. So we just parted ways.
I probably talked to him a whole bunch because, like, I spend my time chilling, like just chilling in the main room.
So yeah, I go there, and I guess if you're saying that, what kicks Marcus and Lael, I'd come back.
Yeah, they actually kicks Marcus and Lael come in. Well, first of all, who comes in first? That would be Barakat with his lady friend.
Yep.
And about half an hour or so later, well, actually more than a half an hour, about an hour and a half, with an escort of guards, about 4 guards, it's Kicks and the rest of the party.
Well, I mean, we all know what happens when Barakat shows up. Hey, Barakat walks by, says nothing, evil Gilair or something.
He doesn't seem to be as much evil glaring as he used to be earlier. I don't know if Barakat is still giving you the evil eye.
No, that's what I'm saying, is that the routine that we get from the island now. Hey, Barakat.
Okay. Hey, Barakat. Fuck you.
Love your wife.
Kind of weird, but okay.
Kix, though, is probably heading up towards his room and is motioning to Barakat to follow.
Hey, Kix, I got to talk to you, too.
Yes, come along. We have things to discuss.
Looks like we're all going up then.
Okay.
Is that the consensus?
I will come.
Kix is going up whether or not anyone else does.
Oh, I like to think that Kix goes up and then Marcus and everybody else has a conversation about whether they're going up.
I walk upstairs. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll go up, I guess. I don't know what he wants to talk about, but fucking sure.
We do know that Kix is a bit battered and bruised. A few
scales. It's like he has his face stomped in or something.
Hey,
I am in the corner using my weaver's kit to make a scarf.
Is that zombified flesh hanging off his shoulder?
We were accosted.
Splinters on his hand?
We were accosted out in the marketplace by assassins and zombies.
Seems to have an arrow in his knee.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, there was an assassin and some zombies. We dealt with the zombies and discovered who the assassin is connected to. Ow, I pricked my finger. Either way,
that's one of
it
the
was,
splinters.
No. I'm currently making a scarf, so it's okay. But yes, no, they were connected to Hextor.
And undoubtedly to our dear neighbor.
That's well.
That would be the simplest logical leap to make.
Yeah, that does line up, considering the rest of the circumstances at hand.
I do have a question though. What kind of poison did they hit you with? Do we know?
Well, let's see. And just pull the arrow out.
Lick
I
it.
can't tell.
Lick
You
it gets
require
paralyzed again.
an alchemist kit to analyze the poison, or a poisonous kit. Either
I'll
way.
just leave it on the table.
Perhaps we should maybe share that with somebody within the city who is skilled at it.
Well, like all the guards he came in with.
I doubt the
Unfortunately,
guards
they're
would be
not
skilled
professional
at determining
alchemists.
poisoning.
Well, you got to figure at least some of them might be.
And
Yes.
guard, because you're a pretty smart enough server, you know that if it's been hours since the attack, the poison probably be.
Well, yeah, no, they probably
moving.
coated the head of the bolt because I assume it's a crossbow bolt, right?
Mhm.
No, it was arrow.
No, okay. Well, they only
longbow,
coated the head
long-
of the arrow, and once that breaks the surface of your flesh, it all gets wiped away and into your bloodstream. So
Yeah.
you just identify it by what it did, and you guys make it sound like it paralyzed you. So I assume so. It's sort of paralyzing toxin, perhaps a pufferfish.
Correct.
That would
I
make
didn't
sense.
even know you can milk pufferfish.
You
What? I'm
don't.
surprised they could get a tropical fish up in this climate.
Not how that works.
Still, while we might be interested in taking a political route on this, I feel Maestrin is already interested in making his move if he's gone this far.
That may be the case, but I think if we oblige back, it's worse for us.
Most likely.
Well, we still have some time in the city and some time to figure out what approach we want to do. Maybe we'll get a chance to investigate. On the other hand, my business concluded properly. I think we may be receiving some assistance and perhaps be able to acquire some gold.
Before we
So
get
that's
to
on
that
the table.
discussion, I actually have one suggestion about handling this Maestrin situation.
Of course.
My recommendation is to get someone is to make it so he accidentally gets somebody else caught in the line of fire, who would be aware that it is him, thus damning himself politically.
I wouldn't like to throw someone under the bus, of course.
I don't think he cares about that. I mean, we've seen his fortress before. It does not really look like he cares about any of that.
He's pretty warmongery, and everyone hates him already.
But
Right,
if
we
we
merely need
start
the
the spark-
justification.
if we start the spark for one important person who wouldn't have acted before, then that's a very strong ally.
We should also probably check in on Pasquarel.
Agreed.
What
We
is
should go ahead and send some envoys there.
what would be happening in Pasquarel?
He's the closest to, I almost say nation, closest city,
Yeah.
keep.
Yeah.
Also, all part of the possibly in his line of fire.
Yeah, in the same way that we overlap him, they overlap him. At the exact
What's
same
happening in
margin.
Pasquarel?
And, the whole turned down by the leader woman.
Wait, you're saying that the city is in between both keeps?
More
Yes.
to the south.
Matron's Keep is between ours and Pasquarel.
Yeah, both of us overlap him in the same margin.
We're to the east of him. Pasquarel is to the south of him.
We're like Venn diagramming him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I understand that. The question I have though is, does Pasquarel have any sort of authority or autonomy to itself, or can it claim either keep?
It's claiming
as-
territory, so clearly yes.
It's a city with a keep and noble backing.
Huh.
It's got borders.
They might be more minor nobles, but they still have some influence.
Have you been in contact with the nobles there?
Yes.
I
Oh,
think
we met them
do
once.
a history check.
Sure.
So you can remember this.
Well,
Can I also make a history check to
I
see
don't
what I know
know-
of Pasquarel?
They say we were
Exactly.
all there.
21.
Yeah,
but
you remember that the people in Pasquale, they are independent from Greyhawk, right?
Hmm.
And they are the writers. Essentially, some might consider them to be at one time being bandits, right?
Hmm.
Mostly because they don't fall under the rule of Greyhawk, although they technically are within its borders. And then mostly their enemies are the orcs to the south, right? And that the situation with Mastrim was that Mastrim's father and the former leader of the writers, the Cognitive writers, were friends, maybe allies, and they had promised each other's, elder children to marry.
Hmm.
His the Cognitive writer's daughter to the son, which is now the Lord Mastrim, and when he was visiting, he was pursuing that. Very similar to what's happening with Barakat at the moment.
yeah,
And going just as well or worse than it is with Barakat right now.
much worse.
Yeah, much worse. They didn't part in
Let's be
amicable
real.
way, right? So
Um,
little, reminding everybody what happened. So, right.
if we are dealing with nobility, I know I'm not completely up to date on the situation. If part of the connection was indeed this marital connection, we could see if we could play that angle, but not force it. Just see if it would be something suitable if I were to fall into nobility.
It would probably make more sense to have a human with noble backing try to make that proposal. Yes.
And it's not even a full-on "this must happen." It would just start as a mere introduction, and even just political discourse, seeing that we do have a common enemy within the same bounds.
I wonder how much we could rile to him to anger.
It seems to me that we just put Marcus in charge of the whole diplomatic / subterfuge angle
Well,
and be done
Well,
with it.
Let's
Better than me
return to
doing
this
it.
one at another point. Barakat and
Sure.
Guard, you both said you had news?
I'm going to try something new here. And I'm just going to tell you guys what I'm up to and leave it at that. And see if you guys want to be in on this or not.
Well, we're all ears.
Hey, Marcus, you know that infamous stage play Ocean's 5?
I absolutely do. I love it. I'm a fan of the Cloonish George, the lead.
Yeah, I figured you'd be down for that. I'm going to rob a casino. It falls outside the lanes of Greyhawk authority, so it will not be protected.
I'm gonna make
As
an insight
much.
check to see if I think he is talking about Greyhawk authority or other authority.
I meant
ahead.
legal authority, outside the Greyhawk legal authority.
As Baron, of
But-
course, I've heard none of this and condone nothing, but why?
yeah.
When we talk about casinos, that's usually not the purview officially outside of taxation of the official guards and authority. But there are certain guilds, particularly one guild, which everybody whispers about, because one of the surnames of the city of Greyhawk is the City of Thieves.
With the one-armed bandit, of course.
So, why are you going to do things at a casino?
Rob it? Oh, because they have something that I need.
And what is
Like,
that
An
exactly?
object?
Yes. Well, it's
Another
more like
hand?
a collection of objects. No, I have a hand.
Huh.
Hold it up, do the Terminator thing, pull the glove off, skeleton hand, put the glove back on.
So, not money.
I don't particularly... I don't care about the money. The
Oh.
money is passive.
I guess I'm less against it now than before.
On a scale of 1 to 10, are we talking like enchanted spoon that makes things taste slightly better,
Why, do
or
you have one?
possibly ending world? No, but my mother had one that she loved.
Ah. Personally, I heard tales of a unending soup spoon. Just put it in your mouth and there's soup.
Oh no,
better
that
Being
spoon.
born with a
That
silver
spoon was
spoon is an
actually a
expression.
cooking ladle. It was a cooking ladle that one used to make food. It instantly tasted better.
This is still better than the fork of hork spallation.
Either
I'm
way,
sorry. I went off on a
Scale
tangent
of
and I've
1 to
already
10.
forgotten what the question was.
on a
What are we-
scale
what are
of
we
1
s-
to 10, are we talking simple enchantment like that or artifact level danger?
Both 1 and 10.
Now I am interested, because that seems fun.
The soup spoon of the gods.
So why are you chasing this thing?
Can I make a history check to see if I can figure out what it is that he's alluding to?
It's gonna be disadvantage because it isn't giving you aside
That's
of being in
fine.
a casino, it's and being
That's
multiple
perfectly
objects.
fine.
Yeah.
So why exactly do you want to get this object also illegally?
Yeah, no, you have no idea.
Oh, I need it for my goals.
It's
The
it's a
same
replacement.
goals that almost got us all killed before?
Yeah. Those same goals.
Oh, that's news. That's wonderful.
It's
Great.
a replacement object for what you've discarded. I'm assuming.
I'm not sure I can condone you trying to fight another god.
1, that was 3 gods. And 2,
Oh, good, you chose to be surrounded and outnumbered.
You chose to fight a triumvirate, alright.
I stood at the feet of 3 different gods and walked away fine.
I'm
Why?
looking specifically at your hand. I say, I wouldn't say necessarily unscathed, however.
I could still juggle. I don't know what you're talking about.
But can you juggle with your feet?
Well, no, my feet aren't like... My feet are more like a horse's feet than your feet, so I don't really understand where you're getting there.
Our entertainment potential is not under question right now, I think.
Regardless, I'll help you. Just let me know what you need me to do.
I have a question. There isn't a skill that is sleight of mouth. Because I want to say one thing to Gar, but have it come across as something different.
Deception.
We deception.
Okay.
Yeah, deception.
I
go
just
ahead.
wanted to confirm.
Pretty sure deception is in fact sleight of mouth.
Well, no, because that's like lying in general, but I'm thinking more like separate communication.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Probably you're trying to obscure what you really mean. So yes, it'll be
100%,
deception.
100%.
Which I assume would be
Deception
countered
with-
by insight.
Yes.
I mean, Gar's not wise, so... Seems more than likely.
Well, if it is something very much illegal and problematic that will get you killed, I'm not down. But if I were to go gambling somewhere and something were to happen, then I could not control that by any means.
I very much feel like that's giving you like the squint eyes, because I'm so close on the roll. The squint eyes, like something sings. It's very weird how you phrase that, but can't really read anything into it.
All right, I rolled a 16. Can I read into it?
Yep,
I
100%.
rolled a 20.
Yeah, yep.
Essentially, translation is I don't condone what you're trying to do, but if I happen to be there when it goes down, well, I can't help but jump in. You know, it's the
Yeah.
thing is like if you're in a bar and your friend gets into a fight, you might hate the fact that your friend got into a fight, but he's your friend. So either you try to pull him out or
Bad
you
example.
The fight. Yeah.
Right.
I will say
That
to Gar,
actually gets more than that though, because it's also the fact of I'm completely down for this plan, like totally down. I'm just trying to hide that
Straight up
fact
down
to
to
people
rob
who
a
are a
casino.
little bit less.
I mean, it
Yeah,
is a
but
quick way to
insight
get
doesn't
money.
work that far. Insight doesn't give you.
Yeah.
Insight doesn't give you a transcript of what you really mean. They don't get
that's
to
fine.
see the script. Go like, okay, what he really means is, you know, and
Tear into your
Erica-
feelings real
yeah.
quick.
You guys
and
have the script.
I say to
crack
Gar,
up binos.
I say to Gar, when are we planning on doing this?
I'm meeting my contact tomorrow to be led to the casino to be able to reconnoiter the inside. Unfortunately, though, it requires fancy dress.
What casino is this?
I don't know the name of it yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
because I was saying perhaps kicks, maybe some relaxation and gambling might be in your future tomorrow.
I don't even have that much money.
I give you 100 gold.
Again, reconnoitering is tomorrow, so
I have
You-
150. I just don't want to spend it.
you don't have to actually gamble that much.
Yeah. Before I forget, the box that Marcus has is costs around 100. You can get between 125 to 175 gold pieces on the right market.
Can I make a persuasion roll just so we can say that I did that throughout the before
Yeah.
we went where we were going tomorrow?
Yeah.
And does someone help?
Help for the persuasion?
I mean, I'm not trained at persuasion, so I assume I can't.
I'm not.
I
Yeah,
am
I don't
trained
have
in
it either.
Persuasion. What are you looking to do exactly?
It's just selling this box to get as much money as possible.
Oh, yeah, I'll help you sell a box.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'm on.
So,
16.
16. Yeah, you get about 160 gold pieces.
160, cool.
so aside from recreating a well-loved play,
Well, wait, before we move on, can somebody spot me a couple gold pieces so I can get something fancy to wear? Because apparently people are put off by me being naked all the time.
How much do you need?
I give you 5 gold. Will
I
that be
literally
enough?
have no idea how much a fancy clothing costs.
Neither do I.
25.
Quite a
25
bit.
is the base.
Yeah, 25.
I've got you covered.
Oh, can I borrow some? Because I think I'll need it too to participate.
You just give you 5. Oh, can I borrow some? Oh, I'll look at 5.
Give my other 100 to Kicks.
here we go. I'm gonna remove 50 from my sheet. There you go. That goes towards both you getting fancy dress.
Sounds good.
You should both have this anyway, of course. So I am for this purchase.
I literally don't wear clothing.
Well, I know
Most
why
of the
I
time.
don't wear clothing. I don't know why Leo doesn't wear clothing.
No,
Oh.
you look. Lael dresses the same way you basically met him. He has a leather strap across his chest, and he wears like red, torn pants.
Okay, you understand when you
That's it.
say you don't wear clothing. That means something completely different from I wear a little bit of clothing. When I say I don't wear clothing,
Wear
I
the
mean
same
that I have a
clothes.
shell that covers everything.
All right.
You say you
Leo-
don't wear clothing, it means you're going commando, balls out.
Well, Lael legitimately looks like he's just a hobo, like all the time. So
Let's give you an extra gold for that bath. But Bearcat, you
Either
also had
way.
news, didn't
What?
you?
what's a bath?
Not really. I don't.
I thought you had something you wanted to say when we were entering in.
Oh, I do have an event that I'm going to
Oh, when?
next week.
It
Oh,
isn't
when next-
also
when- when
a
next week?
robbery, is it?
What? No. I'll be in the Grand Opera Hall on whichever day it was. It's
Oh,
like
geez, I would not miss
few
that
days.
for the world. Are you kidding me?
I think that would be a nice way to cap off our stay here.
You know,
So I'll be there.
if you set that
Also, I
up
remember
yesterday,
that Mastrin was supposed to visit the city the next week.
if you
So,
set that up
the-
yesterday,
So he's coming.
if you set that up yesterday, it would fall on the 28th of Sunset, which is literally the last day of the year. And also, the day of thought.
That's
Fun.
super dope. That's prestigious.
Yeah.
Good for a
Um,
high-minded opera.
Actually, if that is our business concluded as a group, Barricats, before you are off for the night, we should have a conversation about customs and greetings.
All right. Sure.
I will be waiting downstairs.
And when you're done, can I also speak to you for a quick sec, Barracat?
Ooh, I'm popular today, aren't I? I
By the way,
suppose.
remember, Barracat, you do know a tailor.
Yes, I do know a tailor, by the way.
That was legitimately what I was going to ask.
All right. Well, I just assumed that I would have that I was gonna bring them there anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know a guy.
I just read the chat.
Jesus. So Kix, are you going in on the whole robbery thing?
I can only provide some small amount of plausible deniability to the whole affair. I do not think that I would ever make any decent sort of career criminal.
Fair
Well, you
enough.
know, just
And
like
in
in
fact, I
Ocean's,
can only hope to be drunk enough I don't remember what your plan is.
just like Ocean's 5, you wander the casino talking to people, and they suspect you of something, but you haven't done anything, right? So you can't be just like that guy that Marcus said that I can't remember. Something Clooney.
I guess I'll be there, but I won't promise that I'll help.
Loonish George.
And then after we finish talking, I guess I'm going downstairs.
I'm in my usual spot, continuing to make my scarf.
Mhm.
So, it should be quick and relatively simple. Since you are traveling with a companion, I assume that's what she is to you. I want to
Yeah.
be as respectful as possible, but also not just ignore her.
Right.
What is the best way to do that within your culture? Because I know how we speak to you, and I assume that is just you specific, not a Bacloonish thing.
Uh-huh. I would recommend that you treat her in the way you would a noble.
In the way that I treated nobles
In like,
before.
yes, like with
Okay,
respect and such, and be friendly and whatnot, but
understood. Because ever since coming back, I have thought most nobles in this city are pompous assholes who don't give a shit about the world other than what's 5 feet past the front of their face.
well, yes, how you used to. Not how you do now, I suppose. And just don't get too
Understood.
bold. She will cut you to ribbons if
Oh,
she wants to, so
I could already tell that part. I've been respectful thus far. I just wanted to confirm that I was going about it the right way to not offend.
yeah.
You need your rest though.
I
You've
do.
had a day.
Why are you making a scarf?
Oh, I learned how to weave when I was young,
Hmm.
and it's just something I do to pass the time. When you don't need to sleep, there's a lot more hours in the day.
All right. Um, if you'd like, you can make an insight check.
Absolutely, I will. 22.
I think you would find it a bit strange that a musician is supposedly was supposed to at one point marry what is effectively like some level of noble and also knows politics.
Oh no, I'm fully aware of that.
Yeah, just making sure. It's just
Um,
kind of weird, you know? And he's he's starting to leave.
one last thing. You don't need to stay for this, but I want it to put on the books, so per se. I want to know a bit more about your story because there's some weird spots.
Uh-huh.
You're a musician,
That I am.
but you're shy about your music.
Well,
You're an adventurer,
I suppose.
but you have political expertise, and then at the same time you're being chased around by a noblewoman. Either you have lived the truly greatest fairy tale ever told, or that rapping is for not for what it seems.
Well, if you must know, my family does hold some status back home.
Hold there. What we will do is speak when we are back where we know there are no prying ears, or hidden eyes.
All right.
And over a drink, of course.
Well, I need to get some rest before we go into this whole casino mischief.
Hell, tomorrow during the day, I have to reconfirm that I'm alive and myself. I have a day myself.
Yeah, he kind of just dips out of this conversation.
Oh man, how much for every time two of the party members or a party member has like a side conversation with Marcus to have an assassin jump out and shoot them with an arrow?
Oh God.
Man, I have to get some rest tonight. Poison arrow.
Rip.
Oh, there's one assassin running around at least.
I know. I just thought it was.
At least a one.
Marcus, as you go to your favorite corner of the common room downstairs,
Yep.
You notice this person coming right. It's a young boy, no
Yep.
more than 11 or 12, well dressed.
Yep.
It covered because it is getting cold outside. It is winter after all. And he goes over to where you are and he hands you a slip of paper. Says, "My lord, before you do anything else, I think you should meet the family." Here he
I will
types.
look at. I'll look at the paper.
Basically says the same thing that the young boy says, but the thing is, you recognize the writing.
I hate messengers in
You've
this
seen
fucking
it.
city.
Yeah, you
Yep.
recognize the city. The writing is it's your sister's.
Dude
Got
gives
it.
me a
Does the
message
ri-
earlier, says the same thing out loud. Dude gives you a message, says the thing out loud. What's the point of the paper?
Does it have a location?
The Matron estate. That's what it says in the paper. The location.
If it does not say come at a specific time, I'll go there now.
It says early in the morning.
Early in the morning? Okay. In that case, I'll go there in the morning.
So night passes unless anybody else has anything to do into the wee hours in the night.
I mean, I go. Well, as I said, I would go speak to Barakat and just ask, by chance, if we're going to be going to a place that's fancy, do you know anywhere I can get clothing that would look fancy?
Yes, I do, in fact.
Can you take me there tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Much appreciative. How was your day? Good?
It was fairly boring for the most part.
Mm.
And I know it was good.
Really?
Yes, I did paperwork most of the day and organization for the whole opera house event thing. And then well, I got to experience some of my own culture again for a little while.
I nod at that and I say, how did it make you feel?
Well, I think I've already told you it was good.
Don't lose that true heritage then. Perhaps maybe whatever you're planning for your opera, that could be something to consider. I don't know exactly what goes into an opera other than you plan on instruments and artistry in the background, I presume.
Pretty much.
Well, if you need somebody on trapeze, I can pretend to know what I'm doing.
It's not quite the show I'm going for here.
Ah. I remember seeing in the Elven Kingdoms once they did that. It kind of bored me, to be honest, but everybody seems to like that sort of spectacle.
It will most pretty much just be a musical performance, I think. I hope so.
You hope so?
Well, as long as they don't last minute change anything, it should be.
Well, whatever the musical performance will be, make sure that it's one that's important to you. no matter what.
Well, meet me in the morning. I'll take you to a tailor that I know.
Yeah, sounds good. And if you need me, I'll be meditating.
Yep.
I go.
You're gonna take a guard as well. 'Cause
Actually, I was going to ask, is it possible for me to find an all-night tailor?
no.
Really? There's no, like, nighttime species that would open
Wrong game.
shops? No, I'm
Wrong
not talking about Ironclaw. I mean, like, drow and everything like that. The
No.
species
Drow are,
that prefer the
drow
night.
are not welcome in this city.
Yeah, you say
Oh.
that, but I got this guy who's a drow who's doing business in the city for me right now.
He's a half drow.
Who
and
knows?
every time
Maybe
he's
they're
in the
like
city-
wrapped up in bandages or some shit.
Yeah, but he knows the way that to keep things, the down low. No tailors are the nighttime.
He's got connects.
So the morning comes. Everybody is gonna go. Let's start with Marcus first.
Yep.
You're gonna go over to the estate.
100%. I'll also make sure that I will make sure that Lael knows I'm gone, because I'm pretty sure that after trancing, like me going early, with everything that happened that night, I would probably be gone before everyone else was up.
I would be. I assume I'm just like literally in a trance next to him for whatever reason. So yeah. Okay. I'll let them know.
Thank you.
This estate is more modern and a little more modest than what you used to from back in the day. Still, very much a place that shows their wealth. Iron wrought, gates. There's guards. There's a slight frost everywhere because of the cold of winter. It hasn't snowed yet, and you don't expect it to snow. Maybe next week literally at the end of the year, it snows for about a week or so, and that's about it usually.
Okay.
And there's a guard waiting, and the guard sort of looks up and down, and before you even say anything, he opens the door.
Thank you.
Right this way, sir.
Of course.
And they both, the two guards escort you. To the
That's
door.
fine.
And as the door opens, you see your sister, and she's sort of like, her lips are trembling.
Yep.
She's like, Marcus?
Indeed, it is I.
And she just flings herself to, wraps around your hands at your shoulder and all that, and she's sobbing. And then she pulls back. And you knew this was
Marcus is doing damn near the same.
And when you pull back, you know this is coming.
Yep.
He slaps you hard.
100%. Take it.
Yeah.
Ah.
And
Well,
she's
it seems like you kept your hip strength, Lilith. Gosh.
dare you come back to the city to my life, not even have the decency to stop by my door.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't bringing assassins to your door first. Of course. Thank you for the hospitality. Ow.
And you see, like almost inside the door, there's a young man, very tall, almost 7 feet tall, very lanky, and he has almost sort of slipped down. It's like, sir, my wife has told me a lot about you since word has reached us as you're alive.
I am surprisingly.
Joachim Matre at your service, sir. Head of the house for Matre.
What was his name?
Joachim.
Okay. Well, Joachim, it's very lovely to meet you. I thank you for allowing me into your house and taking care of my sister in the way that you have.
And she knows that she gravitates to him and takes her hand, and he's gentle with her, right? And they both sort of like they do this kind of newlywed thing where they kind of stick together and go everywhere together and stuff like that. So probably the marriage is relatively new. They're not more than a year, right?
Yep.
They order a plate of food, just what I prepare for you, like a light breakfast, and there's wine and what have you. And she wants, you can see that she wants to say a lot of things, but she's still, her emotions are raw and she can't say much. My dear wife, your sister, she seems to be lost for words, which is understandable.
Was.
But would you be so kind as to tell us where have you been in the last 4 to 5 years?
I will give you the full, very strange truth of what happened. Mother and father were to send me to one of our grandparents through a teleportation circle because something was happening at the house. Somebody messed with the circle to change the location to where it went, and it sent me to an island in the middle of the ocean covered in jungle. I spent 5 years there. I almost died countless times within 1 week. I ran from Yonti, which are snake people, the entire time, and I was saved by a whale with there was a speaker for an elvish goddess, I think.
They look at each
And then
other.
I learned how to survive. A local baron of Greyhawk and his companions came to the area. I helped them do what they were doing, and they helped me get back. So, as an example of my means of survival, I will use my mage hand, which appears to be a spectral tentacle. Again, not as big as the other ones, to pick up a piece of food to bring it to my mouth.
You know that when you start doing the motions, like the guards are tense, and he sort of, sort of waves them off, like, and she looks at her, and she goes like, and it's clear that basically it's like they're questioning whether or not you could have done that before, right?
Yeah.
So that is quite a tale, sir.
Yes, it's been rough.
We also have a tale to tell ourselves.
Well, yes, I've off the record, I have stopped by the house once to see what remains. But will be going through the process of actually legally existing again, so I have seen that a lot has changed. What is the circumstances on your end?
Well, after you left, shortly after, the house was consumed by fire.
Yeah.
My wife, your sister, believed that that you have died in the fire, that your body was never found. And he starts to explain, it's like, and she jumps in and says, well, it's been very difficult surviving this like 4 years, fighting the debtors and the claims and everything else. If it was not for watching, I would have been bankrupt. We lost everything, Marcus.
No, we did not. We have each other.
Thought I lost everything. But more to the point, somebody has made it made ourselves our enemy, and from hidden corners has thrown legal challenges and claims and worse at us.
Is it the
We're not
same
ready.
individual that went into Mother's hiding spot?
Mother had a high spot?
Yes, for her jewelry and such.
I did not know.
There was
No,
a
she
note
checked.
left. There was a note
She-
left saying that they got there first.
And Joaquin says, "Do you have this note with you?"
Of course not. I left it in place just in case there was any sort of tracking on the note. I know where it is, but
Maybe we could identify the handwriting if it's from the same person. I do have. Dear, could you be so kind as to tell the chef to get us more tea, please? And she looks at him, and for the first time, you see that, even though she was shy and caring and all that, she still has your mother's, fire in her. Like,
Yeah.
It's only so much you can push her around before she pushes back, right?
Yep.
But she complies, right? She's like, very well. Master Marcus, if you be so kind to follow.
I would love to.
It takes you to his study. As always, his discussions end up in the study somewhere. And there's books everywhere, etc. And it's like, your sister and I met. I'd been courting her before you left. She turned me down several times, and I believe the reason why she accepted finally was because of her situation. In time, I think she has found a way to love me, as I always loved her.
She has. I can tell from her interactions. You seem well suited, and I have not seen anything that tells me otherwise on either end.
But this person or persons have hurt her. Like she said, she seemed to have lost everything before you come back. I have several suspects. Well, I have one suspect. But that suspect has proved elusive. Never managed to track him down properly. Whenever I get close.
Fantastic.
Whenever I get close, it's no. But now that you are here and making arrangements to reclaim what is yours, I don't know what to say. Part of me says that you should delay this. The more public you become, the less likely I will be able to intercept this person and find him. On the other hand, the more public you become, the more likely they might do something about it.
I plan. You will not. If you see me in public, you will not see the individual you are speaking to now. I plan on being the most inconsolable, annoying noble in existence, trying to get back their family right-owned property and all of its value to bother every person who has ever had an issue with me. Because I need to see who my enemies are.
Around the time my investigations have led me to believe that there might be someone involved in this. 6 months before your family entirely disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And because you come back, I will say that they just disappeared.
Of course.
There might be hope for them yet. There seems to have been a disagreement between your mother and members of a certain member of House Tavian. After you disappeared, the last member of the house also disappeared. And yet, they're the only ones, I believe, that had the real reason to go after your family. Just doggedly. I knew this man once.
Okay.
His name is Tardio. Tardio Tevin. Of House Tevin. And what's more sniveling, cowardly, and self-centered piece of trash I have never met in my existence. And I'm a noble, so that's saying something.
It definitely is. Well, what information do you have?
Thinking, well, it's the constant attacks. Every time your sisters are able to try to claim her property, there've been legal challenges. There have been several attempts at my property indirectly as well. At her first, and then once she married, at us. Most of them have failed. But the fact the attempts happen,
Okay.
especially the legal challenges, have been far more successful. That's
Now,
why the house remains condemned and not being sold or torn down.
I actually have one last question before I proceed with any actions then. What means between you and my sister do you have to defend yourself if things turn more than legal problem?
Well, I have the guards, if you saw here.
Okay.
And I have several connections, mostly with the Church of St. Cuthbert. My cousin
Wonderful.
is a priest there.
So as
One
per
of
your
them.
recommendation, do you think it would be better for me to come back claiming that I just want to be friends again with my family and I want to get back to life? Or being an asshole who is just claiming complete right to the family name and disowning those so that they're not drawn into the line of fire?
I think there might be a third option. What I know about Kaido, he is a pompous asshole who counters no right. Were you to appear again and make yourself as important and as sort of a triumphal return, he might make a mistake.
I like it.
He won't attack you directly at first. Like I say, he's a coward. But you have to find out who you are and what you do.
I've been here 2 days. I've been attacked once already and not for my own fault. I'm fine with that.
Well, and if anything else you need, such as some resources to get you back on your feet, etc., I feel obliged to help you.
I refuse to accept. As much as I say thank you,
Well,
I
I still have to do it
don't
since you are
care
now
about
my
the money.
brother-in-law. You're now my brother-in-law, so
Of course. I am connected to a baron. I will make my own way. I will appear as if I am what I was when I left.
this Baron, by any chance, wouldn't be the Baron Kicks.
Absolutely, it would.
He's not easy, very hard to miss.
Of course not. Are you kidding me? I'm using that to my advantage. I'm coming back on a grand chariot pulled by a mighty dragon, by the mighty dragon baron.
That might be useful.
Every
exactly
single person I come across is a great tool so far that I do hope to help out, and that I hope that we grow together. But I must see them as both in order to pull off what I'm attempting to do.
I will. Well, I will keep you informed of any discoveries I make. Perhaps you can make use of this information better than
I definitely can.
I would. I don't know how you handle your sister, but I've been trying to keep this away from her as much as possible. She suffered enough as it is. But at the same time, they wouldn't really appreciate me saying this, but I'm perfectly willing to accept her wrath if it's okay for her sake.
Yes, the strongest among us know. I will tell her that I am working on the situation with our housing and our family.
Somebody at that moment,
But whatever she sees, to
knocks
truly
on the door.
ignore, it is not me.
And the door sort of, before he can open, sort of cracks open a little bit. It's like, dear, the tea. Thank you, my dear. And they go out and, she serves tea and you have tea and whatever.
Yep.
Tea and crumpets, I suppose.
So most of the conversation from that point on would just be specific details between like the two of us of what's gone on. and as unbelievable as mine are, like there's experiences of me fighting off like groups of Yuan-Ti by myself, only because I have darkness and can see through it and stuff like that.